The War of Caernarvon Crescent.
It was a long time till the next incident. Christmas had come and gone, as well as Aurora's birthday. We had gone on holiday and come back. Summer had just started, and the temperature was getting into a nice respectable 20 degrees. I was out in the back garden listening to some music with both Aurora and Agamemnon. Aurora was playing with her foam mat with numbers that you can pull out and place back in, whilst Agamemnon was sat in the deck chair next to me. It was serene. Good music, a beer in my hand, and Aurora was having a good time playing. I saw a shadow come across the grass. I looked up and it was Quasimodo looking over the fence. "Chaz!" she snapped. "Chaz!" she snapped once more. I could hear her over the music, but pretended not to hear her. I just didn't want to engage with the old crone. "Chaz!" she shouted at the top of her pipes. I couldn't ignore this anymore. The game was up. I would have to talk to the old bitch. I pressed the off button on my portable speaker. "Yes?" I said. "Is there anything I could do for you?" "Can you clean up the dog mess in the patio? It's putting me off from hanging out my laundry," she snapped. I looked at the patio. There was nothing there. This was it. It was going to be an argument over quite literally nothing. I pointed over to the patio. "Look, there isn't any dog shit there," I said. "Don't swear at me," the old crone spat. "I didn't use that kind of language to you. All I said was dog mess." I snapped back at her. "Look, I ain't going to debate semantics. The fact is, when you said dog's mess, you meant dog shit. So let's not beat around the bush. There isn't any dog shit there, so you're either imagining it or it's something else." "There's a smell there. It came from your dog, and I want you to deal with it," she snapped once more. I got irate. "Don't you blame my dog, you old trout," I snapped. "How dare you blame him? There isn't any shit there because there isn't anything to fucking see. Now if there's a smell, and if you asked me nicely, I would have a look at the patio for you. But as you were your sour-faced normal self, I really can't be fucked." The old woman retreated. On her retreat, she grumbled under her breath, "I'm going to report you to someone." I wasn't sure who she'd report me to, but I couldn't give two shits about it. I said in a loud voice so she could hear me, "Be sure you make your story convincing enough. Here, I'll help you. Make sure you tell whoever that gives a shit that I called you a cunt." "Go on. I dare you." The crone didn't respond. She carried on her retreat into the house. I picked up my phone and began to play some heavy metal, knowing full well that it would piss her off. I walked over to the patio and found that there was a whiff, but sure as hell wasn't from Agamemnon or his non-existent shit. It was coming from the drain. I lifted off the grill covering the drain and saw nothing but stagnant water. I scratched my head and walked to the kitchen. I opened up the cupboard under the sink and located the dog poo bags and a bin bag. I walked back outside and kneeled down by the drain, put my hands inside the dog shit bag and stuck my covered hand down the drain. There was an indescribable sludgy feel down the drain. I scooped up what I could. I shook out the bin bag to open it up and deposited a giant handful of drain matter into the bin bag. The stench was absolutely awful. It just managed to get right up my nose as I deposited another handful of sludge into the bin bag. After a third or fourth handful of sludge, I could feel the bottom of the open section of the terracotta pipework. From the left of the open drain, more bilge water slowly filled the section of pipework, followed by more sludge. As far down to the right of the open drain, and there wasn't that much sludge. I scooped up what I could. I removed the dog shit bag from my hand and dumped that into the bin. Within seconds, I lighted the bin bag closed and took it inside my house. After a quick wash of my hands and running the tap for about a minute or so, to hopefully purge the line, I went back to the garden and witnessed the drain water flowing nicely downstream. I pulled up my phone and took a few pictures and began to video the drain movement. Unfortunately, the next time the old hag takes a shit or runs her taps, the blockage will flow back into my section of drain and the stench will return. Once I turned the tap off and the line was clear of water again, I took another picture of the terracotta pipeworks. I returned to the back of the garden where Aurora and Agamemnon were playing with each other and took my seat once more. I looked blankly at my phone as I pondered what I should write. I decided that the letter had to be the most condescending and pettiest letter I could possibly write, as I was about to get even pettier by reporting the old hag to the local environmental health department and the local authority, along with the photos, so they could order her to pay for a contractor to purge her section of the drain. I had to make the letter without threats of foul language, so I could cover my back. After a short time, the letter was finished and read: Dear neighbour, after our last altercation, I read, the smell you sense close to my patio area, adjacent to the area of your garden, to which you hang your laundry, and subsequently made my dog culpable in your ever infallible opinion. On inspection, the stench, which was exacerbated by the high atmospheric pressure of 22 degrees Celsius, 71.2 degrees Fahrenheit, was not from the alleged defecation and excretion from my dog, which was not present at all, but was in fact from the open layout of the drainage infrastructure by my back door. After inspecting the aforementioned infrastructure, I had an ever most charming task of removing a build-up of desiccated drain matter by hand. It is with great regret that I was unable to remove the vast majority of this, as my arm was unable to fit upstream as well as downstream. So I contacted the local authority, informing them of the situation, for which they will be sending assistance via contractors to remove further blockages of putrid, festering and desiccated drain matter from my property. Unfortunately, as the aforementioned property is downstream of your property and the blockage continues upstream within your property and beyond, if you wish to ensure that any further unpleasantness regarding the assault of your nasal passage, then I insist you hire a set of contractors to purge your section of the aforementioned drainage infrastructure, and I will now consider this matter closed, and will not hear of any further culpability of my dog. Yours faithfully and kind regards, Chaz, number 72. P.S. This bag of congealed drain matter belongs to you. You may keep it or dispose of it by any means necessary. Once again, kind regards, Chaz. I connected my phone to the extended Wi-Fi network that I had established in my garden, sent the letter to the printer. I had a dirty smile on my chops. I just knew that this would seriously piss the old crone off, but I didn't care. I just had to teach the old hag a lesson in manners. I walked back to the house and produced a reel of gaffer tape from the kitchen odds and sods drawer, and collected the letter from the printer, where I taped it to the bin bag of festering concoction of shit, rotten food, and God knows what else. I had a look into the back garden, where I noticed Aurora riding Agamemnon like a horse. I picked up the bin bag of doom and took it out to the front door. I walked up the garden path and went into the old hag's garden, where I placed it neatly on the doorstep with the letter facing the door, so she could read the note. I left her garden with a big old chuckle and went back into my house.
Thank you for listening to the War of Caernarvon Crescent. If you've enjoyed this production from Master X Media, why not check out more content by clicking the link in the description below. Until next time, soldier.